All right, so next we are going to begin editing our elements of art photos in black and white. Remember your notes that you just took. The very first step is to actually open Photoshop, because if you just go into your folder and open the picture, then that's just looking at the picture. That's not opening it for you to edit. So you need to go ahead and open up Photoshop, and then you are going to locate your picture. So that's File, Open. You are going to be editing all 25 pictures, because I really want you to get the hang of editing and showing a range of value, so the lightest lights and the darkest darks. When you're done with that, you're going to make a contact sheet. So that looks like this, just as a brief preview. It's a sheet that has a small version of each of your images that you took for the project. So I want to see the 25 original pictures. That one was named wrong. The 25 original pictures on your sheet, and then you're going to make a sheet that has the 25 edited pictures. And so when you make them, the file name right here is going to be printed on the sheet. That's actually really nice, because then once you have a contact sheet, you can look at all of your pictures really quickly and see, oh, okay, this was number whatever picture, and be able to go back to it easily. So once you have edited your pictures and made your contact sheet, you're going to make one more thing in Photoshop, and that is this template here. This is a finished example. And it's going to show your 6 favorite pieces that represent each of the elements of art. So it's important to make sure that you have a good one for each of those elements. You can see this was a student example from last year. You can see line, shape, value, so lightest lights, darkest darks. You can see texture, how something feels, space, positive and negative space, and then form, which is something three-dimensional. Now, some of these examples could go either way. Maybe you see texture here as well. I definitely see texture in this value example. I want to see on your pictures that the element that you're telling me it is very obvious. If you're saying this is shape, I should be able to see shape. So it's okay if you can see more than one element, as long as the main element is visible. So we're going to start editing our pictures. Remember, the first step is to go to File, Open, and go to your photo class folder. Your pictures should be in your Elements of Art folder, and you should have a folder that is called Originals. If you have not yet made a folder called Edits, go ahead and do that right now. So you're going to click on this little Create a New Folder. Oh, also, what you should be doing is make your Photoshop, come on, hold on, cancel. Make your Photoshop half screen. You guys have big wide screens for a reason. And then you can make this video that you're watching, pretend that's this, on this side. So you can watch me do the steps as you do them along in Photoshop. It makes things way easier than clicking back and forth between different windows and doing one little tiny step at a time. So you can watch the process split screen like this. So you can see me do the steps here, and then you can see your Photoshop here. But anyway, I'll make mine back to full screen. So I'm going to edit my first picture. So I will go to File, Open, and I will go to my, sorry, I have to do this again, my photo class folder, my Elements of Art, and then my Originals. I'll have too many. So maybe I want to click like this and adjust the view so I can see which pictures I'm looking at. These were actually somebody else's pictures that I borrowed. You're going to edit 25 total, so if you know you have exactly 25, maybe just go right in order. But if you know you have more than that, then of course you're going to need to pick the best ones. But I'll pick my first picture and I will say open. So the first step, once it opens, maybe. Okay, the first step is to desaturate the image, and again, you do that by going Image, Adjustments, Desaturate, all the way down here. we are not clicking this black and white option, because the reason for that is we don't want to distort the quality or mess up certain levels, things like that. It really does a little bit more harm than good. What we really want to do is keep our values of the image, so the lights and the darks, and just take away the color. So that's why we're picking desaturate. Once you've done that, okay, now that I'm looking at this image, this is way too gray. There's not a strong difference between the lightest lights and the darkest darks. So that's where our special tool comes in called levels. So that is image, adjustments, levels. You might also notice right here it says Control L. That's what you'll see me use because, again, quick keys are faster. But if you want to do it the menu way, image, adjustments, levels. And then this thing comes up. Please don't let me see you having this right on top of the main part of your image, trying to just guess what your values are. Grab the blue bar right here and move it to the side. Now I can see my whole picture and I can really see what levels I'm adjusting. So once again, the sliders here correspond with the colors, or the values, I'm sorry, of your image. So you can see my histogram here. It's a pretty decent image in terms of value. This one wasn't taken by me, it was taken by a student, but just so you know. So the first thing I personally like to do is adjust the white slider. So since this preview check is on, you're going to see the changes happen on the image. So I'm going to drag this over. The lightest lights start to come in. But now I'm really instantly thinking to myself, wow, I need some darks. So I bring this darkest dark slider over. And my tip to you is to pay attention to this histogram mountain itself. Bring the white slider over to the main base of it, and the same thing with the black slider. Bring that over to the base. That instantly gives me a nice range of value. You can toggle this preview button and see here's the before and here's the after, just with that one simple step. Now you can go in and adjust the gray slider. You can play with it too, like drag it around and see what it does, until you get what looks like the best range of value for you. When you're really using value like you should be, it should add depth to your image. Your images should not look gray and flat. So when I click the preview, again, that's before, this is after. It definitely has a strong range of value. I've got those lightest lights, the darkest darks, here, and then all the values in between. So I would say that's a good edit. I can go ahead and press OK. And then this is super important. I don't want to save on top of my original color picture because I need to keep that for my contact sheet. So I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to my Elements of Art folder. I want to go to my Edits. Now, just to be extra safe, I would strongly recommend renaming the picture. So you know you can't save on top of IMG 1961 if you rename it to what's actually in the picture. So I'm just going to call it Ivy. It needs to be a .jpg. The drop down needs to say JPEG. Hopefully it stays like that for you, and you're just going to go ahead and press Save. This thing, as always, slide it all the way up to 12 and press OK. So now it's saving. So if I was to go to my folder, my edits, I should see the picture I just saved. Here's my Ivy picture. So I'm going to repeat for all 25 images. I can go ahead and X this out. Notice how it didn't ask, do you want to save your changes? If you get that pop-up, that means you did not do File, Save As on that picture. So once again, super quick, File open, go to your Originals folder, decide which picture you're editing. I don't know, I'll do this one. Again, not mine, borrowing. Image adjustments, desaturate. Image adjustments, levels. Obviously, I'm going this fast because I know what I'm doing. I want you guys to be conscious and take your time. I'm bringing the sliders to the base of my histogram and then adjusting my gray tones. That's the order I want you to go in. I want you to strive to have the lightest lights and the darkest darks. This one's a little tough because the picture itself was originally really, really gray across the board, but I am trying my best to get a good range of value. And when I'm happy, I'll press OK. And then once again, File, Save As. Going to my Edits folder, and then rename it to what it is. Save. Slider up to 12, press OK. So you're going to repeat that for all 25 pictures. The next thing I want to show you is how to create your template, like I showed you that student example in the beginning. I'd actually rather you do this before you do your contact sheets while those pictures are fresh in your mind. So you're going to go File, Open, and you will go to the Modify folder. So Public, Students for me, Public for you, Modify. Hit the R on your keyboard. For those of you that still can't get that, if you're clicking right here in the file name box, that's why it's not working. You just need to hit R and it takes you right there. After you open that, go to your class folder, whichever class you're in, and there's a sheet right here that's a Photoshop document that says Elements Worksheet Template. Again, do not overwrite the template. How do you not overwrite things? File, Save As. Just like with your pictures, you want to keep the original, so you go File, Save As. Same thing here. We want to keep this template for everyone else, so File, Save As. So I will open this, and then I'll look in my Edits folder where I have just finished editing all 25 of my Elements of Art photos, which should take you some time. It's okay if it takes you all of day one to edit your pictures. I just want to have these steps here for you so that you have them when you need them. Anyway, I'm going to my Elements, my Edits, and I'm going to click this view so I can quickly glance at them. So I should have all 25 edits here. And I will go ahead and open a couple of the pictures that I'm going to use. I need a total of 6. So my 6 best images that represent each of those elements of art. And I'm going to reopen the student example just so you can see what we're going for, because the ones right there are not the best. Oh, here it is. Okay. So this is what we're going for. Multiple layers. Those are all the pictures going in your piece and the background. I opened the template. If you want to be safe, just go ahead right now and do File, Save As to your account, especially if you're running low on time. You don't have to worry about the last minute rush. So I'm going to my account, my photo class folder, my Elements of Art folder, and then I'm putting this in here. Once again, I need to rename it. I don't really care what you call it as long as you put your last name first. It should be a PSD for right now, and I'm just going to hit save. Okay. My first picture that I'm using, I'm going to go Control A, Control C, and then guess. Control V. Now my picture's here. I need to resize it with Control T. Please, at this point, you should know to hold Shift and only drag from the corner. So hold Shift. Okay. I don't really know what example this one was supposed to be. Let's go with value. So I'm resizing it to fit this grid. I'm holding Shift the whole time. And just fit it into this space. Obviously put it in the box with the one that it goes with. Then press Enter. Next, I'll open the next picture. Again, I don't really know what this is supposed to be. Oh, I had it open. Control A, Control C, Control V, and Control T. Hold Shift, drag from the corner. Maybe he's supposed to be form. This is not an obvious example. It could also easily be texture. I don't know. but I'm just showing you how to set up this template. So once you've got all 6 examples on here, and each of those represents the element, it's your best version of each element, you're going to go ahead and go File, Save As. There's going to be a turn-in folder for all of these items. In the meantime, as always, you should save your own versions to your own account. So once you've got all 6 pictures on here, I want you to change it to a JPEG. And again, last name, first name. So change the drop down JPEG.jpg, it defaulted. And I'm saving it in my own account because then once I've got my 3 different things that I'm actually turning in, it'll be way easier for me to just copy and paste all 3 at the same time. So save to my account, press OK. I saved it as a JPEG. Close these out. Okay. The next video is going to be how to create your contact sheets. I'm going to do that as a separate video because it's something that you're going to use throughout the school year.